Hello.
Oh, woman.
Oh, person.
Yeah, way to be inclusive to all the freaks out there. That's good. What's up? Are you okay? What? Do the intro.
I just got here, okay? Give me a second.
Okay.
If you didn't know, this is Mindless Prattle.
What? Oh, that was way more than a second. I don't. Dang it.
Welcome back. We're here to talk to you about
If
stuff.
you did know, it's still Mindless Prattle. Episode 82. And what?
I thought it was 81.
You're 81.
I'm not.
Oh, well, neither is this.
Okay.
Got her.
Okay, 82. My bee.
You have a bee? I want a bee.
Only in The Sims. You can have a bee farm.
A bee farm. Look, 81 was published last week. Get on the game. Get on the game plan, man.
I don't ever know what to title the episodes. Like, when Jordan does the titles, I think they're much better.
Why?
Because you're funny.
What do you mean?
I'm only funny on accident,
Let
usually.
me see what the last one was out. Mindless Galloping Crocs. Wow, that's
It's a mouthful, right?
yeah. I think you did this one too. Maybe.
Yeah. People loved your pool bees.
Mindless Pool Bees. It's fun because it sounds like boobies, but it's not. Your chat messages will appear here.
So many chats.
Good.
Good. Yes.
Oh, it's episode 82. I'm Ripley, that's Jordan. And we have
Yep.
in-store and out-of-store experiences for you. Go ahead. Kick us off this week.
Okay, the funniest thing
So I thought... What?
you told me to do it, and then you started talking.
Oh, that must be annoying for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that... Yeah. Why are you looking at me with such disdain?
Tell your story.
I don't have a story.
Stop touching me.
I'm sorry, man. We're just very close right now. Look, you're holding my hand. Let's let go.
So you thought?
Yeah, I thought you were going to tell a funny story, but then you
Okay.
stopped.
So, had to take one of our cats to the vet this week, right? And
Right.
naturally, cats do not like going into their carriers.
Why are you laughing about that?
And they don't like being carried around. So I get her into the carrier without her murdering me. Took a minute. And then I'm carrying her down the steps. And she's like, just giving the most pitiful sounds that I've ever heard her make.
Yep.
And I'm like, you need to go to the vet. You have this problem with your eye. Okay.
You have a problem, man.
You have so many problems. We need to go to the vet. So I get there. And first of all, it was such a beautiful day, right? I was like, I'm gonna roll my windows down.
It's a beautiful day.
So I was letting my car air out because it was really hot the day before. So I was
My
like,
cat's sick. It's so beautiful.
and I wanted the fresh air for the cat, And then it starts pouring rain after we get to the vet, and so I have to leave her on a chair, and then go outside and roll my windows up.
You left your windows down?
The one time I do that shit, it rains.
Uh-huh.
I really like this vet's office though. Like, it's really calm inside. Like, our last vet, it looked like a kindergarten inside, like super
Yeah.
colorful and shit, which is fine. But
Which is weird because like most animals can't see all those colors. Like it's just there to calm down the owners,
yeah, they were good vets. I just, the color scheme wasn't my choice. But she was much calmer at this one. Like, didn't freak out as much. Plus, they don't have a gap between their like examination thing and the wall because the last one did, and so the cats would just go in there.
It's like a table in the middle of the room instead of the side of the room.
No, it's on the side, but it's like completely sealed off, so there's no like gapping.
Yeah, but I'm talking about some vets have like the exam table in the middle of the room.
They did not.
And it's like, of course they don't want to sit in the middle of a room.
Yeah, they have the little table, and then they had a sink, and then a really tall cabinet.
Yeah, like your Sims games.
Yes. And Chipmunk's being real calm. Like, they take her temperature. I have to hold her, but, they do it. She's fine. She doesn't scratch or anything like that.
Mm-hmm,
and we're just waiting for the main vet to come in because it was a vet tech. And she was like, your cat is making me okay with cats again because I guess she got attacked by a cat and she's only worked there for a few months. And so she's really struggled, and I was like, yeah, this one she doesn't really care. Like, she doesn't love these things, but she just tolerates everything.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for the vet to come in. She's exploring. She's like hopping around, getting in the sink, all that stuff. And then after a while, she jumped to the top of the cabinet, like the really tall ass cabinet. And I was like, I didn't even know she could jump that high.
What do you mean? She gets on the ones here all the time.
No, but it was like taller than that shit.
Yeah.
And she's kind of a clumsy cat. I'm not gonna lie. Like normally she only does that sort of stuff because of the other one. So.
Yeah, your cat's a bad influence on my cat.
Whatever. But and then of course, like 2 seconds later, the vet came back, and I was like, they're looking around at the ground. They're like, "Where's your cat?" And I'm like, "She's up there."
Why didn't you just keep holding her for a little bit? Why'd you let her run around? That's crazy.
Because she was being calm, and like
You were on your phone, weren't you?
No.
I knew it.
I was just trying to keep her calm. I was taking pictures of her.
Yeah, on your phone. See, I'm right. I'm good at this. I'm on top of this. I knew what was happening.
And then she was literally just sitting on the counter, like staring and chilling. I was like, okay, she's good. And then I look away for half a second. I look back. She had jumped all the way up the cabinet.
So you were neglecting your cat at the vet.
No, I was
That's
not.
a fun story. Real good story, bro.
And then the vet's like, where is she? And I'm like, she's up there. And they're like, oh my God, we've never had a cat do that before.
What a lie. What a lie they've told you. Like, your cat's so amazing and special. She learned to jump.
No, they said that people
list.
ask all the time if cats do that. And they're like, no, not really. Like, we haven't seen it. And then they were like, oh, somebody needs to go get a ladder. Like,
yeah.
But she was calm other than that. It did take all three of us to get her back in the carrier. She was not having it. She was very upset. Because they did a dye test to her eye.
Yeah.
So, like, the two of them were holding her and then dyeing her eye and then shining a light in it. And she was just restrained a lot. And I think she was reaching her... What do they call it? When we got
psychosis.
when we adopted them, they said, oh, they ran out of kitty minutes.
What?
It's like a term vets and things use, like when your cat runs out of patience, they call it kitty minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really fun.
Ah, yes.
What?
They often have no kitty limits.
Minutes. It's like that's the amount of time you have until the cat's out of patience and won't let you.
I think it's weird because I feel like most cats won't make it to a minute. So it should really be like kitty seconds, not minutes.
I don't know. I'm not a vet. I don't know what kind of testing they do for those exams.
I'm saying your cats, like when you pick them up when they don't want to be picked up, it's seconds, not minutes that they try and run away.
Especially Sweet Roll.
Real quick. There are not minutes there.
The younger one scratches. The older one just kind of accepts it, and then she'll start to push away. She'll be like, "Rah."
I don't know what you're talking about. I definitely watched your cat attack the other one this morning.
What?
Like, Sweet Roll was just sitting there at the door, like pawing at the door, and Chipmunk ran up and jumped on her. And then, like, they started fighting and rolling around. I'm like, go outside and do that. So I opened the door, and they both ran out. Then I closed the door, and then they both stopped fighting and went,
they don't like it out there.
Okay, so I opened the door again, and they came back in the bedroom, and I closed it again, and then they both sat and stared at it. I'm like, do you just not like closed doors? Like,
they don't like anything, okay?
Yeah, whatever. Dude, I was speaking of taking small things where they shouldn't go. Hey, I was at the gym, and I'm just going to like our little apartment gym. It's nothing like crazy, but
it's a pretty nice one.
It gets the job done. But so I was on the treadmill, and the treadmill faces like away from the door, right? So I was on the treadmill. I hear the door open because it's early morning. I could see the reflection of the door in the window in front of me. So I see two people walk in, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And I saw a woman, and then I saw some other figure. So I was like, "Oh, women and a man came in, or whatever. It's fine."
Women and a man.
Yes, and I hear him go behind me and start setting stuff down. And it looked like one of them had like a backpack or a duffel bag or something. But again, I'm facing forward because I don't want to fall and embarrass myself, and I'd have to like kill all the witnesses. And
okay,
so I just kept running. Well, like a minute later, maybe, I don't know. I figured they were just warming up, stretching or something. The woman comes over. She gets on the elliptical, which is like 2 away from me. So it was me on a treadmill and then an open treadmill and then her on an elliptical. And I was like, okay. And I was still running. I had like another 5-10 minutes left while on my run. she's the only one there. And I was like, where did that other dude go? I'm like, nobody else came up. I'm like, maybe he's doing weights or something behind me. But
Mhm.
again, I don't want to turn around because then I'll trip and fall. And so I finally finished my run like 5, 6 minutes later, whatever it is. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go over to the leg curl. So I go start to like turn it off the treadmill, cool down, turn around, and on the on the bench, sitting over there, is this kid who's probably in middle school, and he's just on a iPad, like tapping on things and playing games. And I look over, and and I did see a backpack. He's got like a backpack on, didn't even put it down, was on the iPad just playing games. And I was like, all right, that's kind of strange. Went over, did the curls. He's still just sitting there. The mom got off the elliptical, went on to the treadmill, ran for like 5 minutes, but because of the new machine I was on, I was facing the whole gym, so I could see what was happening. And every like 20 seconds, she would look at her watch and then like try and speed up a little bit, I guess, to get more workout in. I don't know. I don't know what she's trying to do. Run away from her problems, maybe.
I get that.
And for until eventually she only ran for maybe 5, 6 minutes, and then an alarm went off on her watch, so she hit it, turned off the machine, walked over, and said something to the kid about, come on, we got to get you to school. And they got up and went out and got in the car and drove off. I'm like, you couldn't have trusted that like middle school kid to sit at home for the 15 minutes you were at the gym. I'm
Yeah.
like you weren't even here that long, but I guess. And I'm like, and why go straight from here to drop him off at school? You don't want to shower or nothing first. I'm like, just wake up a little earlier, go to the gym, then wake your kid up, you know? I don't know. It was very weird to me. And I was like, just working out by myself. I'm like,
She's got a time to a
okay,
second.
I guess. But shoot, I'm like, all right, whatever. I also saw a very funny sign in the gym, which I thought it makes sense, but it's not the way I would word it. There's a sign in the corner of the gym, and it says, let me in case of police or EMS, call 911. Like in case they show up, call 911. Like there's police here. I know what it's supposed to say.
Are they real?
I think it's supposed to say like in case of like the need for police or EMT, or like in case of emergency, call
Mhm.
911. But it's very strange to me that they worded in case of police or EMT, call 911. Like in case you need them, I guess,
They were
is
a
what
little
it's
drunk
supposed
when
to
they made
say,
the
but it
sign.
makes it sound like in case they show up, call 911. Like, okay.
Those aren't the real police.
Yeah, I don't know. So
Be on the lookout.
I have no idea. But those are that happened on like the same day at the gym. Like I looked over to try and avoid eye contact with this middle school kid, and I saw that sign. I was like, "What the fuck?"
The kid also trying to avoid eye contact, like, oh, fuck. He saw me looking.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
So, two cool facts I learned about space this week, right?
About space.
Yeah.
The thing you're afraid of.
Things I didn't know about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, did you know there's a forgotten planet called Eris? On the far side out from Pluto.
A forgotten planet.
Yeah. So basically, like it exists. It has moons and stuff.
Basically, it exists. Hey, me too.
It's called Eris, Eris, and when Pluto was declared a mini planet or a dwarf planet instead of a regular one, so was Eris because it's so far out. They barely like counted it as a part of our solar system, even though it rotates around the sun, just at a very, very slow pace compared to everything else.
I mean, so does Pluto.
But it's called Eris, and I just thought that was so cool and sad at the same time.
It's not sad. Why are you're sad for the rock because it's too small in space?
What if somebody forgot about you?
I'm not a planet or a dwarf planet, and even if I was, I wouldn't care what a speck of dust living on the other fucking planet nearby has to say.
He's like, my bacteria is doing great.
Yeah, they would.
But then second thing that I learned, did you know that moons can have their own moons?
Mm-hmm.
And they're called moons.
Yeah. Yeah, I did know that.
I love the moon meme, and I read that earlier, and I was like, what the fuck? Moons.
Mm-hmm.
Moons.
It's because of the definition of moon. That's why. Because a moon is any like.
Yeah.
The moon is and is defined as like an object that orbits around another celestial body. So technically, even though it's smaller, it's moons aren't technically defined by the size. It's defined by if it orbits, if it doesn't meet the criteria of being in the planet category, but still orbits a celestial body due to its gravitational pull, it's a moon. So even though it's orbiting another moon, it's still a moon because that's the definition.
I
So that's
just
the
like, what
moon's
do you
moon.
think the limit is? Like, how many moons is like too
Before it's
many?
too small, and you're just like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's a pebble. I don't.
Like, hey,
Well,
this pebble's
eventually,
rotating.
well, it still has to maintain its own orbit. So at some point, if it's too small, it would be a meteor or an asteroid and just get pulled into by the gravity.
So I guess it would depend on the size of the planet, like what
Depends
that
on if
is.
it's maintaining its orbit, right? Because if it's
Okay.
being pulled in or like shot out because of the orbit's not stable, then it's not a moon.
That's like always the plot of an alien film where they're getting
Gravity.
pulled. Yeah, well, yeah, like they're on a ship or something somewhere crazy that they can't escape from, and they're getting pulled into the gravity of a planet. That's the Alien Isolation,
Dude,
Alien
I
Romulus, like
know
everything.
everything like that, which is super crazy to me, considering like how empty everything is in between planets and things that you would hit. And they're like, "We're about to hit the ring of this planet." And you're like, "How? You know how much space is out here, and you're about to hit this ring in the next 12 hours?" I'm like, "You guys have great fucking timing."
Well, so I saw a theory. So spoilers for Alien Romulus if you haven't seen it. Sorry, I'm talking about it. I saw this theory that the ex-boyfriend of the main character, Rain, his name is like what, Tyler, I think? Something stupid like that. No offense to Tyler's.
Was
But
he the one that was yelling about his sister about to die? Was that
yeah,
him? Yeah,
yeah.
the one who owned a ship somehow,
Yeah,
but
so
couldn't escape the mining planet
I saw this
for some
TikToker
reason.
made this theory that that guy was hired by Wayland Yutani after they broke up, so she wouldn't have known what he's been up to. But that Wayland Yutani knew that um, that was there, and they needed someone to go collect the black goo or whatever and
Yeah.
the data for their experiments. And her ex boyfriend hated Andy so much that people think that's why he picked her and him and like made it seem like, oh, we need your help getting into this space station.
I was very confused at the beginning of that when they were like, "Yeah, we should just go up and get it so we can get out of here." And you're like, "You own a ship? How do you own a ship?" And I'm like, "And you can't sell that ship for a ticket out of here? Like what?" It was very
Well, and
confusing to
it's
me
also
why a
like,
bunch of kids just owned a ship, like a spaceship, all of a sudden. I'm like, "Where did you get that from?"
and it's also like, how are they getting off planet? Like, yeah, I know that they needed to get life support or whatever, but if they had the supplies, they could have just flown out and dealt with 9 years in space, you know? Um,
I think that was the issue is they wanted to cryo sleep for 9 years, but they only had what was it like 3 or 4 years worth
mhm.
of cryo, and I'm like I guess like I could see that, but you tell me there's nowhere on the planet to get like the cryo because they went up and got the pods, and then they could have been like, oh shit, there's no fuel. Let's go back down to the planet and get some. Like
I don't know. It all seems a little too convenient, especially because he's so good at like fending off the face huggers in the beginning, and like he navigates
didn't
everything
even
flawlessly. And
that dude was also an idiot. Like he heard his fucking friend, like sister, on the phone and was just like, "I know I'm surrounded by facehuggers that react to sound, but let me talk real
no,
quick."
literally, like, oh, they, the brother Andy, he goes, okay, be silent and you'll be fine. Like, just keep walking. Him immediately, hello, are you okay? What's going
And
on?
he talked loud as fuck, and I'm like, those facehuggers must be deaf as fuck because there's no other sound other than him talking and breathing. And they're like, "Where is he from?" And you're like, he's right there. It's very easy to tell. You're about to
No,
die.
honestly, if I was Rain, I would
Like,
have left him behind.
no, I would have. She stopped and turned around. And was like, oh, he's talking. Yeah, keep walking. He'll distract them. He'll die, not you. Keep walking.
Like, Andy's the only reason they survived.
I was on his side from the beginning. Even though he would like turn corporate, I'm fine with it. I was like, that's why you can survive. Fuck this. Everyone was gonna leave you, including the sister. Like the sister knew that he was gonna be abandoned, and she was like, fuck it. And at the very end, she was like, I want you to stay with us. I'm like, oh, now that he saved your life several times, you give a shit about him again, huh? That's cool.
Yeah, there's always a question of like human versus android in a lot of these films and games and stuff. But
No, the question should have been, why does this company keep employing humans? If
No.
you only used androids, it would be way easier. Be like, oh shit, they killed more. The alien killed more androids. Be like, okay, send more androids. Fuck it.
Well, and
Like,
then if there's no human hosts, like they can't make more aliens.
that's what I'm saying. Like, why would you not? You know how it reproduces. You know that the robots follow instructions to the letter and will place the experiments above their own safety. Just send the robots. You have enough money to build giant ass space stations, but you don't have enough common sense to go, hey, we should only use robots here.
But also, why do they keep doing
What?
it on a space station? Like, why don't they have all these experiments on like abandoned shitty planets that nobody wants to go to?
They could also do that, I guess. But I mean, I think it was because they were doing it on their way back to whatever colony or wherever they were going, you know? But either way, it doesn't matter. If they only used robots who apparently have more technical and scientific knowledge anyway, none of that shit would have happened. Literally none of it. You're like, okay. Like, one of them got loose and reproduced, and the whole crew died. And you're like, yeah, because you have humans on board, and you know it reproduces using humans. You dumb as fuck.
Well,
Like, what?
any living being. So, like in one of the films, a dog is the first creature that the alien bursts out of,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
and
so depressing.
they were experimenting on with like the rats and stuff, and it's like I feel like as long as you kept the rats or like the this mice or whatever like frozen until you needed them for the experiment, then even the aliens would be like, oh shit, these things are dead.
Yeah.
You know?
But God, I wish we would get a sequel to Alien Isolation. It's been really cool because since Alien Romulus came out, they've been a lot of people have been playing Alien Isolation, especially God, like teenagers. It feels so weird because
And the start of it, every time they're like, oh, this isn't scary, this isn't bad. And then it cuts forward and they're like, I'm gonna die. I need to run. I need to go away.
they're
I
like,
need to run.
ah, you know. But I think it's so fun that people are getting into it again because it came out in like 2014.
That is true.
And then so that part in in Alien Romulus where she's going up the elevator shaft and suddenly the gravity turns back on and she falls and the alien catches it with her tail. Everybody keeps making memes of that on TikTok, like, what are we? Like, and then somebody else had a good point
That
where
is
they
so
weren't making
fucking
jokes
funny.
about it. They were like, can you imagine like you're falling to what is your certain death and then you suddenly are caught and you look over and it's certain death? Like, would you rather want to die by
Also,
an alien or by falling to your death?
she was dumb about that too. Like
She was dumb about everything.
she was trying to go up to meet Andy and like instead of over to the wall that was right next to her with the the ladder on it. I'm like, you could have I get it. There's no gravity. You can't swim over to it. You could have easily thrown something the other direction and it would have pushed you again towards the wall though. She had so many things that she could have thrown. I think she still had the gun at that point, so you could have just thrown that even though it was out of ammo.
Yeah, I don't know why
Like-
she was just like free floating because even if the gravity was off, I would have been holding onto the ladder, anyways, because they knew that it was like going on and off.
Yeah, she jumped too far up instead of over towards the ladder because I think she was trying to get away from the bottom. But even still, like she slowed down really fucking fast. I'm like, you wouldn't slow down. You would just run into the wall and keep going up. Like she jumped off the bottom of like the elevator shaft and she was going at a pretty decent speed and then she slowed down. I'm like, what is slowing you down right now? There's no gravity. How are you slowing down?
And that was actually
Shouldn't you have just kept going?
that made me think about weapons. So that was another reason why people think that that guy, the boyfriend, I don't remember his name. But I'll just call him the ex-boyfriend or whatever. But they were like another reason why they think he works for Wayland Yutani or like the military is
he
because
had
that
training
gun,
on that weapon, yeah.
and he kept using those hand signals. And then when they asked him where he got it from, he's like video games. But if you remember, the video game they were playing was like 2D pixels, like a Pong like game,
Yeah.
Like there's
No,
no
that
way
man
you
had-
learn how to do a gun from that.
That man had military training, and at the very beginning, when they were like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Hand and arm signals. It's effective." And we're like, and then I was sitting there, I'm like, "They are. That's as long as everyone knows what the hell you're doing, though.
Yeah, so
you got to teach other people what it means. Otherwise, they're just like, "Are we playing charades? What are we doing?"
And
Like,
so basically, they summed up their theory by saying like Wayland Yutani like used this kid, probably knew that he was gonna try to abandon them as soon as the mission was completed and like go
Oh,
to this other
yeah.
planet. So they sent him on a task that they knew he probably wouldn't return from. but they would
Oh.
have gotten the data they wanted.
Again, could have just sent like a team of 6 robots and it would have gotten accomplished. Because
Yeah.
even if they got the black goo, like what was like they're not gonna get attacked by the alien.
Well, and at a certain
It's-
point, like how many billion-dollar installations are these companies willing to lose in order to get an alien?
just one little bit of black goo.
Like
You're like,
always
"Ah."
goes poorly in every movie, in every game, in every
Yeah,
little show.
I think that's funny. They're like, no, it's finally dead. We can take it now. And you're like, take it where, man? And also, why are you using humans to do it? If you could automate the whole thing with robots and autonomous things, you would have been perfectly fine experimenting on that space station for a while. I'm like, sure, some of the systems probably would have gotten fucked up because the alien like tore it apart or whatever. I feel like you still could have easily.
And even then,
You
it's
know,
just
done
one
that.
alien. So long as you don't have like
Yeah, if you don't have food for it,
20,000
they won't
rats.
reproduce. Yeah. Like, oh, we injected 18 rats. Okay, and then what? And they're like, oh yeah, oh, it's fine though. Why? Because we did all of our testing inside this chamber, and when an alien like popped out of there that we didn't want, we just hit a button and it ejected it into space.
as part
Okay.
of the
Okay.
the
Easy.
have you ever seen Resurrection?
I don't think so.
It's the one that came out the year I was born, or we were born.
Thanks, Grandma.
But in that one, the company like keeps a bunch of aliens like in these cages basically, and they're like using nitrogen. What's the one that's really cold?
It's liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, so they were like
Yeah.
blasting it on them, trying to train them or Pavlov the aliens, and eventually the aliens like adjust to it and like work through the pain together to like get into the room and kill the scientist who keeps pressing the button. But they
Mhm.
lock the scientist in that room, and then one of the aliens presses the button. Like they learned it from.
Mhm.
Can you imagine we teach alien creatures more cruelty? Like that's so human of us.
Yeah.
But I digress. I'm talking about Alien a lot lately.
I don't know you. Okay, I got I got something I want to read to you, but you gotta close your eyes so you don't read ahead.
Okay.
All right, close your eyes. This is a story I just found. Here's the headline, and then I'll read you the story. All right. The headline is Russian spy whale found dead in Norway.
What?
Yeah, here you go. A beluga whale suspected of being a Russian trained spy has been found dead in Norwegian waters.
Why is it suspected?
Listen, let me see. Sebastian Strand, who worked to protect the 14-foot long whale known as Vladimir, said he found the dead mammal floating near Risavika in the southwestern Norway on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
He said it's heartbreaking. He's touched thousands of people's hearts just here in Norway alone. Don't keep your eyes closed. I gotta read you the rest of this. They said that the cause of death is unclear at this time. The dead whale was found with markings which could have been caused by birds or other marine animals. Now, Vladimir, whose name is a combination of the word Haval, which is the Norwegian word for whale, and Vladimir, after Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, was first spotted in Norway in 2019. Now,
Why would Russia be
Here's-
spying on Norway?
no, here's what it is. Okay, so scientists quickly became concerned by the fact that Vladimir was found swimming in waters considered to be too busy for beluga whales. Since 2019, they have observed Vladimir as the whale that continued to live outside of its natural habitat while also
the whale who lived.
right. And then it's also spotted off the coast of Sweden in 2023, which was even further from its natural food sources and instead towards more industrial and dangerous harbors. Now, the only reason that they believe that it's a Russian spy is because when he was first spotted in 2019, he had been wearing a harness that was marked Equipment of St. Petersburg, as well as what happened to be a camera mount. So they on a whale. And look at this picture of him.
How do you even train a whale
The
to
Russian
spy?
spy whale, Vladimir.
Vladimir. That is so funny.
So he's been around since 2019, just being observed in waters he wasn't supposed to be in. And I'm like, I'm curious to see if they actually do an autopsy to see if there were like components inside as well, or if it was just the harness and the camera mount.
Well, they needed to track it somehow, right? So wouldn't there
I
be some
don't
sort of
know.
tracker or tag?
Well, that too, but you'd also want to be able to like direct where it goes. So if it was this far out of its natural habitat, maybe they had a way of like controlling where it would go or like swimming in a certain direction. But I just thought that was so amazing that the title was just suspected Russian spy whale found dead in Norway.
Okay, that reminds me. Do you think? I'm gonna ask a question and I'm gonna list a headline, but the question is, are clickbait headlines going too far?
Okay.
So, the headline was, "Man gets food poisoning after having vigorous sex with his wife."
Okay.
That would make you think that
Was
he
that
got food
caused by
poisoning
the sex?
from the sex, right? No, this man had cooked, somehow got a piece of rice stuck in his penis. It got infected, and he almost died of a bacteria from that rice that was in his penis.
But what does that
How did the rice get there? I don't know.
What does that have to do with the sex?
Exactly.
Though? It could just be
Exactly.
the rice got stuck. You know what I mean?
Such clickbait, right?
That's awesome.
Also, I know I said I was going to talk about Alien again, but this is Alien adjacent.
I'm just gonna mute this.
So, you know how much I loved the movie Prey.
No.
It's another Predator movie, but the one that takes place back in like the 1800s, or like 1740s, something like that. It's in the late 1700s,
Maybe
early
the
1800s.
1680s, sometimes the 1390s.
I don't know, but
Maybe the
it takes place
1245s.
hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
1172.
Shut up. But I loved that movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought the effects were cool. I thought the story was fun. And just, God, like the fight scenes, especially like when it was her and her brother fighting the Predator together, I thought that was really cool. Apparently, it's getting a sequel. So I don't know any details about it, but they're working on it. And then I guess they're working on another one that is based on the Predator series as well, but I don't know what it is.
Just speaking of time, dude. Time perception is really interesting to me. What's up?
Sorry, I was trying to see if I could find any information about it in the LV426 subreddit, which is like they're like one of the planets from Alien. And somebody said if it starts being some kind of quirky monster of the week where a predator visits different time periods throughout history, it could get kind of cheesy. Could you imagine a documentary style show like Ancient Aliens or something, but it's just the predator monster going to different cultures and seeing if they can beat them or not?
I mean, isn't that what predators do? They just not time travel, but that's pretty funny.
Yeah, they can. I'm pretty sure they can time travel, or they can at least they have space travel, but like their whole thing is challenging. So predators, they have to challenge like other predators and survive first,
and then other species to see like how make themselves better.
They would want to kill or find the strongest species. I love Alien versus Predator. I think that, like, they should do more campy stuff like that. Like, it's great. Plus, because in that film, the Predator has to team up with a human to kill the alien, and it's really fun and cool.
You say that, but like, I feel like the Predator would win very easily, or should have, based off of like the recent Alien movies where they were just like, yeah, you can kill him with guns.
Okay.
Okay. So the
that's
Predator
my
has
only
guns.
complaint about the newest Alien film.
They were so easy to kill in that movie.
They just the practical effects were beautiful. Like they were like actual actors and things like that. But the aliens just stood there and stared at them. They literally kill people in seconds, but they just stood there and like watched these humans do things. Like you only need one human alive to breed tons.
I don't know.
You only need one alien queen.
I haven't seen all of the Alien movies, but from the few that I have, and
I have all of them but Resurrection.
The few that I have seen and the video games that I have played, I'm like, man, these things are tough to kill. And then we saw the newest one, and she killed like 20 of them in like 10 seconds with a gun. I'm like,
yeah, and that was a big part of the original series. Is like they didn't want to use guns against them because of their acid blood, which then would, destroy parts of the ship or something. or you get hurt. I will say that scene where she's like diving through the acid in 0G, I thought was cool as fuck.
It was very cool. I don't know that it would have worked like that very well, but I don't know.
I did like
but they
that,
were so easy to kill in that. I was like, so why don't? That's why I'm thinking about like Alien vs Predator. I'm like, that's crazy how she could kill 20, but it takes the predator a whole movie to shoot one. Like, all right.
Well, because the predators usually hunt on their own, and so say you have like a nest of like 20 aliens like hunting you in the dark, because in the dark they blend in pretty good.
They're thermal. What do you mean? Predator's
But
got heat vision, thermal, like.
and that there's like one scene too where the predator like takes some of the alien blood and like burns a thing into their forehead as like a mark of honor or something for killing one.
Even still, I don't know. I thought that was very.
We should watch Alien vs Predator. It's a fun movie. Plus, it takes place in like Alaska or some shit. It's like an icy place.
Alaska.
So it's got some cool scenes in it. But yeah, that was my question. Is like clickbait headlines are getting a little out of control there because.
Nah, I mean, I wouldn't click on that article anyway. But I agree. It's kind of out there.
So you know what's holding me back from tarot card readings?
The fear of being killed.
No.
Dang it.
Interesting though. I can't shuffle cards.
Yeah. The easiest thing to practice. We have so many decks of cards. And you're like, I can't shuffle these.
I'm really bad at shuffling cards. Like I have no dexterity at all.
Oh my gosh. Well,
and I have 2 sets of tarot cards, so I really want to like use them.
You should probably practice with the other cards so you don't bend these ones. Like trying,
Just like 52 card pickup. This is your fortune.
Bruh, like, you're not afraid of the cards going like, oh shoot, I'm gonna die.
No, because that's not what tarot cards are supposed to be.
And yet you have a jar with rocks on your desk that says, I'm gonna get a job now.
Shut up.
You know why it's not working? Because the jar says pesto, not job.
There's other components in there. I have a whole letter sealed and everything.
Yes, that's what we got wax melting stuff for. Witchcraft.
You made me forget what I was talking about.
Tarot cards.
Oh, tarot cards are like they're not supposed to be like a direct fortune telling thing in the way that we use them today. It's supposed to be like general
I've seen
guidance.
The Princess and the Frog. Okay, I know how it works. You sing a song, you get some cards, and then you turn into a frog, and then your butler steals your life, but then ends up. Does he die? I don't know what happens to him. He gets like chased out or something.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I don't remember what happened. Like the Shadow Man gets dragged to hell, but I don't remember what the butler, like what happens to him.
You know there's some like fan fiction out there about that guy, the demon guy going to hell.
Of what?
I don't know.
Just him being tortured?
No, I think it'd be like romance, like they'd be like Shadow Daddy.
Mm-hmm. Glad you're attracted to that man. You're like, I want to see if this fan fiction's on here.
Yeah. So I've been reading this Twilight fan fiction for a few months now. Like, I started reading it before our wedding and everything. The artist normally posts chapters every Sunday, but she hasn't for like a whole month. And then I got a notification this morning that she posted a new chapter, and I was so excited. I was like, I am a grown woman.
I'm an adult.
You know, the best part of being an adult is like enjoying your hobbies. And, fuck it if people think it's weird, but I like to read fan fiction. That's fine.
You could do that as a teenager too.
It's a lot of free content. I didn't know about fan fiction when I was a teenager.
I'm just talking about enjoying hobbies, but
Well, I wasn't capable of doing that at the time.
I was incapable of enjoying hobbies during my youth.
God, I really want to play VR again sometime, but I don't know how it'll work out in here.
What do you mean? Just set it up.
Well,
that's it. Nope, that's the only step.
Are we gonna put it in the wall, or are we just gonna put it on?
Nope, set it up. All you gotta do is set it up.
Okay.
Yep. 2 steps. Set it up, play.
Is that all?
Yep. That's it.
Okay. I think Cooking Simulator in VR would be so much better than like regular Cooking Simulator.
I still want to play Skyrim VR. I haven't tried that yet.
Ooh, we should definitely hook it up. Ow. We should do it on your computer though.
Why?
Well, Skyrim VR is heavy. I think it'd look better on your computer.
How much does it weigh? Like 2,
It's like 100 gigs.
maybe 3 pounds.
I don't know.
Also, by the way, we got back from the grocery store earlier.
Yes.
And I got you some McDonald's because bitches love fries and Coke. And we got out of the car and you went, ooh, I'll take 3 bags of the lightest groceries. And then you just left like 6 gallons of juice for me to carry up the stairs. And I was like, you son of a bitch.
I was going to come back down and get another load.
And then
I didn't think
I
you were
told
going to
you
bring all of them.
1. You said, how many trips are we going to take? And I said 1. And you went, okay. And then we got out of the car and you went, let me take the chips. And, oh, is that air? I'll take that too. And then you walked upstairs and I went, this motherfucker. And so I'm carrying like probably 40 something pounds of
You were carrying
groceries
so
up
many
the
groceries.
stairs. You're like, is that everything? I'm like, yeah, I told you 1 trip. And you're like, oh, that stuff's heavy. Thank you for letting me know. I was thinking I was just as light as a feather. Wee, floating around.
God, okay, I was watching this like true crime story about this guy who committed a mass crime. The details of the crime are important, but they were talking about in the interrogation with him that he was like, he would answer questions in a certain really direct way, all this sort of stuff, blah, 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 blah. And they were like, oh, he's got to be so dangerous. Like, he's got these dangerous thoughts. And I was like, that just sounds like this man's OCD and autistic. Like, literally everything they were describing was an OCD symptom. And then they were like, why didn't this therapist do anything? And it's like, because they didn't say they were going to harm people. Like, you know? And I just thought it was interesting. I was like, I guess I didn't realize how a lot of people don't know a lot of things about mental health or like the symptoms of extreme mental health disorders.
Yeah.
Because just the way that they viewed this person, which did a terrible thing, terrible person. It's not because of their mental health. He just was a terrible person. But I was like, yeah, like all these traits that you're like, oh, these are clearly warning signs. No, most people will not go on to commit mass murder. Like,
no.
And the people that do will fuck those people. I just like, I'm glad I'm a good person because I just cannot imagine like wanting to kill somebody in general, you know? Like, it doesn't sound like a fun time to me. Unless it's The Sims.
I just think about every time I want to kill somebody that the joke that Nate Bargatze says and he's like, yeah, our mom wanted a koi pond because she's at that age. So me and our brother and sister went over there and we started digging out the koi pond. And I just want you to know that digging a hole by hand is the hardest thing ever. He goes, I think that's why so many people get buried in shallow graves after they're murdered. Because even if it's the most important hole of your life that you're digging, you're still like, let's call it good. It's been a foot. I don't need more.
Okay, this might be oddly specific, but...
And I think about that when I'm like, I should kill you. And then I'm like, not you, probably. And it's... I'm like, but then I'd have to get a shovel, and burying bodies is so much work.
And it's always the husband. You're the first person they're going to look at.
Even if you're burying them like vertically, you know how much work it takes to dig any amount of... so much
and
work.
They call it dead weight for a reason, right?
What?
Like when a body is dead and a person's completely lax and like you are bearing their full weight, like it's a lot harder to move them.
Oh, I'm not worried about moving you. The dirt's gonna be the issue.
You better not be planning murdering me.
Ugh.
I gotta outlive you for that sweet, sweet beneficiary money.
Well, we could go on a trip, right? We go to you go up to like Alaska, North Pole somewhere, and you're like,
ooh, Alaska?
Look at the Aurora Borealis. And then be like, oh yeah, she woke up this morning and she went for a hike and she never came back. And then, because snow is a little bit lighter.
That's your first mistake, buddy. Everybody who knows me knows I would never go hiking.
Oh, she went for a walk in the morning, whatever.
In the snow? As if.
I guess weird. Security footage shows she's going outside for something. That's crazy. And she just never came back. But snow, a little bit lighter than dirt. And
frozen ground, though.
No. All the permafrost, right, down below, pretty easy, right? You get down to that, because it snows continuously. It doesn't, like, thaw out. And even when it thaws out, it's like a few feet that it'll go down, and it comes back up at snow time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I feel like it'd be easier to bury somebody under the snow than it would be. But then again, the dogs that are trained to sniff through snow can sniff through like 6 feet of snow. So you got to like really bury them in the us know.
You've thought of this pretty deeply, huh?
No, I do have a portable shovel though.
So you're saying I shouldn't go anywhere with you alone in the next few months here?
Yes, months. I'm impatient. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
God. Okay. Are there any video games you're looking forward to coming up?
New Assassin's Creed's coming out. Black Ops 6. I tried the beta. The beta is it's got a steep learning curve compared to a lot of other Call of Duties.
Okay, do you have to buy the whole game or can you just buy the zombie part?
I think you'd have to get the whole thing. I don't know I don't know what their plan is because like the beta, it's multiplayer is free, but like I don't know what Call of Duty's doing because like Halo, for example, the multiplayer is free. Like you can just go in and play.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want like the other battle pass or there's microtransactions that you can pay money for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Call of Duty's moving that way because like the beta is usually like a closed beta and then they usually open it up for a few days. So I don't know if Black Ops 6 will be closed or open or what their price is going to be on it or what's going to happen with it. I don't know.
I think betas are open more often these days because companies like to use it as like free game testers.
Oh my gosh, there were so many bugs when I was playing the beta yesterday.
Yeah, they're hoping some nerd will get mad and like send them a mail like, here's all the things I've noticed that you need to fix in this game. It pissed me off.
No, they don't look at it for that. They look at it for performance testing usually. Like the servers are really shit right now. Like half the servers I jump into is just so much lag and like rebounding. I'm like, eh. But the bugs that I'm on there, even like they're not gonna. The only thing they look at is performance of their servers and like the load that it takes. And if the game crashes, it'll send a crash report because they don't want that to happen. But like all the other like little bugs that are in the game that like people see during the beta, they really don't care about. And they'd rather push out something that like performs well, but then there's like some graphical bugs, because they're like, it performs well, fuck it.
I feel like the new Assassin's Creed, I need you to get a disc of.
You need me to get a disc of?
Yeah,
Why?
so I can play it too, and we don't have to buy it twice.
I mean, we could do that, yeah.
I'm really excited because they announced that My Sims is coming to the Switch. So
thank goodness.
And there's a My Sims Medieval. I'm really excited. I used to play those on like DS and Nintendo and all that sort of stuff, and like to see that they're bringing them back, it's like finally, because I didn't get the last Pokemon game, like I think Scarlet and Violet, I didn't get those, but oh my god, I saw that Sims and I was like, I want those Sims games.
Where's that like emulator Game Boy thing that you have? I haven't seen that in a while.
It's in my backpack.
You play it at work or stuff, or
sometimes, yeah. I have a list of favorites, but there's kind of so many games. I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't know which ones I should play first. I wonder if I could get that recording on my screen for Twitch.
What?
Like,
oh, it's a I don't know. I'd have to look at it.
I think I'd have to hook it up to a bunch of different shit. Probably. Well, take us out of here, Jeeves.
You talking to me? Oh, that's you. I thought.
No, you.
No.
No.
Anyway, bye. And that's the end.
Okay, this has been an episode of Mindless Prattle. We appreciate you for listening. If you like us or hate us, please let us know. You can send us a message at our website, or you can click on our Spotify and give us a good rating. I don't know anything about other audio platforms, but I know we're on there, so like, do that too.
Mm-hmm. And if this episode wasn't to your liking, it's because Ripley edited it.
I edit most of them now.
You mostly do not. Don't even lie to people like that.
You know, so last Monday, I almost forgot about editing it.
I know.
And then I, like, right before I went to work, I did it. And I was like, haha.
Mm-hmm. I know, you did it last minute. That's why it came out an hour early at 10:50 instead of 11:50.
I was so sure it came out at 10:50.
I was like, that's cool. Interesting, but...
Okay, tomorrow, though, I got it.
I believe in you.
Well, that's Jordan.
I also
Ripley.
believe in Bigfoot, so if that tells you anything.
Maybe he's just a little guy. Okay.
Big feet.
That's the end of this episode.
My favorite Bigfoot is in Futurama.
Yeah.
Where the Omicronians come by and they find him in the forest. And they're like, oh, look at this guy with his little feet. He's so cute. He's like running around and he gets like mad. And then they killed like some poachers.
As they should.
Anyway, and then that whole episode's about aphrodisiacs, by the way, and it is. It's about people. It's about aliens cutting off human noses because they think it's an aphrodisiac, and then they find out that humans don't use noses to reproduce. So then they try and cut off somebody's penis, and then they convince them to go on a romantic date in the woods, and then they find Bigfoot, and then they save him, and then they don't cut off the guy's penis because he saved an animal. And that's how that story.
All
That is the
right,
plot of that. That's the plot of that episode.
that is the
It's
end
great.
of Mindless Prattle. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Look, now it says goodbye. It knew.